No one dared cross the invisible line in space. It wasn't marked by stars or satellites or even a warning beacon. It was just known. Every map across every species in the galaxy stopped at the same place, the edge of human space. Not because humans said so. No, it was deeper than that, older. Like the universe itself had drawn the line and whispered, "Don't." And every alien species listened. But not everyone knew why. Some called it a mystery, others a curse. A few believed it was a silent warning of something so terrifying, so unimaginable, that not even the bravest war fleets dared test it. Ships that drifted too close disappeared. Those that returned, and there weren't many, came back with their hulls scorched, systems fried, and crews that would never speak again. Not even under the sharpest probes of their own governments. But none of that had anything to do with Malcolm. Not yet, anyway. Malcolm James was 17, smart, polite, a little too quiet for most people's liking, and invisible in the way only black kids in a busy city can be. He wasn't trying to change the world. He was just trying to get home, from school without missing the last bus, and without catching the attention of anybody who might slow him down. His life wasn't easy, but it was his. Classes, part-time jobs, saving up for community college, helping his grandma with her pills. That was enough. On that rainy Tuesday, the bus was packed. People crammed shoulder to shoulder, each lost in their own world. The kind of day where no one made eye contact. Just heads down, headphones in, tired bodies waiting to get where they were going. Malcolm had his spot near the back, earbuds in, hood up, backpack on his lap. He was half asleep when the bus jerked to a stop and the driver called out, "Step back, folks, make room." A very pregnant woman stepped in. Her coat was soaked. She looked like she hadn't sat down in days. Nobody moved. Not one person. It was like everyone suddenly forgot what being human meant. Malcolm didn't think twice. He stood up, tapped her gently on the shoulder, and offered his seat. She looked up surprised, not at the offer, but at who had made it. She sat down with a grateful sigh, hands cradling her belly. Then she said something strange. "You have no idea how important that was." Malcolm just nodded. He was used to awkward thanks, but then she reached into her coat, pulled out a folded piece of paper, and handed it to him. Her eyes were intense, not grateful, but serious. Almost afraid. "Keep this safe," she whispered, "and don't open it until you're ready." He looked at the paper. No writing on the outside, no name, no clue. By the time he looked up, she was gone. Vanished. Not just off the bus. Gone. No one remembered her getting off. No one remembered seeing her at all. That night, Malcolm sat on his bed holding the note. His grandma was asleep in the next room. The city buzzed outside his window like always. But something was different. Something in the air. A pull. Like the universe had turned and was now looking straight at him. He opened the note. And that was the moment everything changed. Because what he read wasn't in any human language. It wasn't a message. It was a key to something vast, ancient, and buried deep at the center of human space. A place where no one dared go. A place older than Earth itself. He didn't understand it, not yet, but someone did. And now, they were coming for him, and Malcolm was about to find out why the galaxy ends where it does, and why every species knows better than to ask. Malcolm stared at the note, the strange symbols glowing faintly like they were alive, shifting just at the edge of his vision. He blinked and shook his head, but the lines didn't go away. They weren't just symbols. They were moving, breathing. Like the paper itself had a pulse. He wanted to toss it in the trash, he really did. But something deep inside, some instinct older than fear, told him this wasn't something you could just ignore. Not if you wanted life to go back to normal. He sat there, heart thudding, trying to make sense of what had just happened. A random woman, a seat on a crowded bus, a folded paper with alien writing that made his skin feel cold, even though his room was warm. He opened his phone and took a photo of the note. Maybe someone online would know what it was. He posted it on a random forum he used sometimes for homework. Help under a fake name with a caption. Anyone seen something like this? Found it on the bus. Then he shoved the paper in an old shoebox under his bed and tried to forget about it. But forgetfulness wasn't in the cards. The next morning started off normal enough. Cold cereal, half-warm shower, running to catch the bus again. But soon as he stepped outside, he knew something was wrong. A black car was parked across the street. Not a police car. Not a neighbor's either, just sitting there. Dark windows, engine off, no movement. Malcolm tried to ignore it. Probably nothing. But when he got to the corner store to grab a snack before school, he noticed the same car, parked across from the parking lot. Different position, same car. Or maybe it wasn't the same car, but it looked close enough to make his stomach twist. Inside the store, Mr. T from behind the counter gave him a nod like always, but today his smile didn't reach his eyes, and that made Malcolm feel worse. Mr. T always smiled for real. Always. At school things were even weirder. A substitute teacher in science class, a woman with a tight ponytail and a name Malcolm didn't catch. She didn't take roll, didn't pass out any worksheets, just stood at the front of the room asking strange questions. "What do you think the limits of space exploration should be?" she asked. Eyes locked on Malcolm even though she said it. To the whole class. No one answered. She didn't blink. Malcolm looked down at his desk, heart thudding. Why was she staring at him? After class, she caught up to him in the hallway. "You've seen it, haven't you?" she said, voice low and urgent. "The script." Malcolm froze. "What?" "The symbols," she said, not waiting for an answer. "You shouldn't have opened it." He took a step back. "Be careful," she whispered, and then turned and walked away like they'd never spoken at all. By the time the last bell rang, Malcolm's nerves were shot. He skipped the bus and walked home, fast, eyes scanning every corner, every parked car. That black one was back, just sitting on his street again. He rushed inside, locked the door, and checked all the windows. His grandma was napping on the couch, TV murmuring softly in the background. He didn't tell her anything. He didn't know how to. Upstairs in his room, he pulled the shoebox back out and stared at the note again. It was still glowing, brighter now. He picked it up. And this time, something happened. The room dimmed. The air shimmered like heat waves on asphalt. And then, a voice, not from the paper, from inside his head. "You are the key." Malcolm dropped the note like it burned him. It fluttered to the floor, symbols pulsing like a heartbeat. He didn't know what was happening, but he knew one thing now for sure. This wasn't just a note. It wasn't just a weird alien riddle or some kind of prank. It was a message meant for him. But why? Why him? He was just a kid from the city. He didn't have powers. He wasn't some chosen one. He hadn't even left his state, let alone Earth. So why had that woman given him this? That night, he didn't sleep. Instead, he searched. Every corner of the internet. Forums, archives, hidden subreddits. Old conspiracy pages with flashing pop-ups and outdated designs. And then finally, something clicked. A post from 5 years ago. Almost deleted. Buried so deep it was like it had been erased on purpose. A single image, the same symbols. The post only had 3 words. "It's waking up." There were no replies, no upvotes, nothing. But someone else had seen it. Someone else. Knew. Then his phone vibrated. Unknown number, no caller ID, no ringtone, just a text. "You've opened the door. They're coming." That was it. He dropped the phone and backed away. His mind was racing. They? Who were they? The people watching in the black car, the substitute teacher who knew things she shouldn't? He checked the window. The car was gone. The next day, the sky wasn't the same. It wasn't obvious at first, cloudy, like usual. But there was this shimmer in the air, like something big was hanging just outside the atmosphere, hidden, waiting. In the hallway at school, nobody looked at him, but he felt it. The shift, like he'd stepped out of a normal life and into a world that was waiting for something to happen. That night, he found another note, slipped under his door. No knock, no sound, just a single piece of paper. Folded neatly, inside, more symbols, and this time, a translation. The line was drawn to protect the rest of the galaxy. But you are proof it won't hold much longer. The lights flickered, the air grew heavy, outside the stars blinked, but one didn't blink back on. It just stayed gone. Malcolm didn't know it yet, but something had just entered human space, and it was looking for him.